All right, well, welcome, Kelly, and anybody who's going to be watching this. This will be a short and sweet presentation. Basically, today's training topic is about master item descriptors and item descriptors, as well as extended text. And the purpose of those, you can use the information. If you're just using it in series, that's fine, but mostly it's for additional information for Agency Express. So a lot of people will set up master item descriptors and then assign those descriptors to the item cards to give more information to the shoppers as to additional types of things that you can't store in other fields on the item card. And then extended text, you can put in things in the extended text field, which will show up in, if you synchronize extended text to the web, then it will show up in the additional information when the shopper clicks on the item number in the shopping list, and then they can see it when they open up that additional info screen. So basically, in order to synchronize extended text to Agency Express, you have to have that option selected in the agencies and receivables setup. And so we'll go ahead and go in there and show you where that value is set. So on the web ordering tab on agencies and receivables setup, there is a field to synchronize extended item text, and it's right here. If this checkbox has a value in it, a yes value, then you will be able to synchronize the extended text to the web. And basically, extended text works in a fashion that you can add additional information such as cooking instructions, or perhaps information about, whether the item is a new item and for how long it's a new item, or it's a discontinued item and, when it's going to be discontinued, or maybe you're offering it for free for a short period of time and you want to put some additional information. So if you go to an item card, and we'll go ahead and go to an item card here, and edit the item card, and we're viewing in 2013, so it looks a little bit different from 2009, but everything is basically the same other than some of the visual components here. So to get to the extended text, you actually have to go to, in 2009 you would go to the item related information and then go to extended text, and in 2013 we go to the navigate and then go to extended text. And you can add extended text by clicking on the new icon at the top, or you can edit existing extended text by clicking on the edit button if there's already something set up. You'll see that I set up extended text called new item, and I put text in here for this is a new item and we will be offering it for free for the first week it is available. So you can put up to about, I think, 243 characters over several different lines. When you start adding text into this field, it will eventually stop on a single line and you'll have to move to the next line down. I'm going to close this one and create a new, excuse me, a new extended text. But before I do that, you'll notice that on this one, there's a starting date and an ending date. So this extended text would only be available on item information between the 28th of the month and the 7th of next month. So you can put in a starting and ending period for your text, and then if you wanted to start new text as of the 8th of November, you could then create a new line and do a starting date of November 8th. But to create a new extended text, you can just create the new button. And if you're using languages, then you could set it up by language code, but typically it's just going to default to all language codes. If you want to put a description for your extended text, you can put that here. So if I wanted to say this was, we'll just say cooking instructions. We don't really have cooking instructions for chocolate syrup, but we'll pretend that we do. And if I wanted these cooking instructions to be available all the time, then I wouldn't necessarily input a starting date or ending date, and I would just go down here into the text field and start inputting my instructions. So if this were in fact something that was going to be need to be cooked, or somehow they need to have more information about how to handle the particular item, then you could insert that information here. So you could say, uh, preheat oven, except for I can't type. And then, you can put in all of your steps here. And then once you've entered that information, this information will be able to be sent up to the web for information to be viewed online for the shoppers. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And now you'll see that I have two extended text lists here. One of them is my new item one, and it has a starting and ending date, and then my cooking instructions, which does not have a starting and ending date because that will remain up there for as long as you want it to. If you decide at some point you don't want that information up there, you can always delete the extended text. Do you have any questions about, oh, sorry about that, Kelly. If you use it for cooking instructions, you should be able to print those from AE. So I don't know if I have an example on AE to look up where extended text exists, but if you go to the shopping list on Agency Express and you click on an item, usually the item number has an underline underneath it. When you click on that, it opens up the additional information about the item. So more information about the unit of measure, cost per unit of measure, and if you have pictures, it will show up there. The extended text is also going to show there. So I don't know, other than taking a screenshot, if there's a way to print that information, but I would think that you could either take a screenshot of it with any kind of clipping type mechanism, snipping tool, or snag it or anything like that, and then you could print it. There may be a print button available from Agency Express. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you don't see one and you want to check with Aid Matrix, you can always email Aid Matrix at AE Support and ask them, or just email Ida at Aid Matrix, and you should be able to either, you can try it out on your end, like you said, see if you can print from there, and if not, email them to see if they're going to add that feature. So that's pretty much it for extended text. You'll notice that also on my item I have a button here for item descriptors, but before I can add item descriptors to an item card, I must first set up master item descriptors. So we'll go ahead and close out the card here for a moment, and we'll go to master descriptors, which is in the warehouse inventory setup, and you'll see master descriptors listed here under administration. And I've already got a few master descriptors here. Some people have been using the master descriptors to identify the nutritional value of items. So if you wanted to, you could add, because you can put as many item descriptors on an item card as is necessary. So if you wanted to, and I don't know, I'm just kind of making this up because I don't know all these off by heart, but you'll notice that when I started to enter one, it gave me a message saying that any changes made here must also be made to the admin page on Agency Express. So if you're adding master descriptors in series and then you are adding those descriptors to item cards, you must also add the same master descriptors to the setup in Agency Express. So it will pop up with this warning to remind you to do that. So if you wanted to, for example, use nutritional value codes, you could put them, except for, again, I can't type. And every time I move off the line or add something, it will give me that message. And if you have different ways of explaining your nutritional values, you could, insert however you want to describe them. These are just some examples. So you'll see that I've set up a few master descriptors here. We have one for healthy, kosher, kid-friendly, low-fat, new, non-fat. You could add sugar-free, all kinds of different explanations for your item descriptions. And then once you have the master descriptors set up here, let's just add sugar-free here just for the heck of it. Then you can go to the item card, and on the item card you can add as many item descriptors as you need to identify additional information about that item. So if we go back to the list of items, and let's say on our chocolate syrup we want to add some information. And again, it is under, in 2013, it's under Navigate. In 2009, it will be under your item button at the top, and then related information, and then item descriptors. So on this item, you can see we already have chocolate syrup listed as healthy. I questioned that, but I wasn't the one who added that one. Kosher and kid-friendly. And if we wanted to, let's say we were using nutritional values and we wanted to also add a nutritional value, I would question it being medium nutritional value as well. But so we've added those. So all of these descriptors will show up in the item information on Agency Express, as well as if the shopper wants to search for items based on an item descriptor, they can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK here. And while I'm not connected to a specific Agency Express database, I can log into one and we can take a look at what it looks like on the other end. And we'll go into the admin page first. Thank you. So on the configuration management page, if we scroll down, we can see the item descriptor section. And right now we just have one descriptor showing here. So shoppers would only be able to search on this one item descriptor, but they could see all items that met that particular description when they're looking at the shopping list. If you had additional descriptors that you added, then they would be able to also search based on those descriptors. And of course, if we log in as a shopper. All right, so if we go to the shopping list, and if they're using descriptor codes, and hopefully I pick somebody who is, and they are, you'll see that the descriptor codes, when you click on the little question mark icon, will show here so that you know which ones you can then filter by. So in this case, they have bulk item, fat-free, sugar-free, ready-to-eat, low-fat, microwavable, and it looks like we have kosher as well. Might have more, but we got to expand it here. Kid-friendly, and then kosher. So they've added those to their item descriptors. And so if we wanted to say filter for one of those item descriptors, such as kid-friendly, then we can enter it here and then search. And it didn't find any items that met that criteria. So let's see if we can find some that actually do have a value. So let's try sugar-free. And of course, there may not be any that are on there, but I'll show you where it would show. Let's do a show all here. So what I was talking about before with the extended text as well as the item descriptors is once you click on the item number in the shopping list, then you get additional information. So in this extra info field, if there was extended text on the item card, it would show up here. So your cooking instructions would show up in this extra info field, and it doesn't look like there's any print button here to choose from, so it would have to be doing a screenshot if you wanted to get that cooking information. But again, that would display here in the extra info, as would the item descriptor information. So if there was item descriptors attached to this item, then they would display here, and if there was any extended text, it would also display. So the screen might end up being, fairly long if there's a lot of information attached to that item. But this is where you would find it. And again, it doesn't look like we can print it from any button here, but you can take a screenshot of it and then print it for further use. So that's the basics of extended text and item descriptors. Did you have any questions that that you wanted to ask about setting them up or using them, and I'll be happy to answer. Okay, all right, great. Well, again, like I said, it was short and sweet, so hopefully this will be helpful for anyone else who wants to listen in later.